quarterly results at Promigas, September 2022. My name is Juliana Vergara, Director of the Relationships with Investor. Through this platform, we have habilitated the question button to send the questions we're going to answer in the end of the presentation. Please take into account that this session is recorded. Today is with us Juan Manuel Rojas, President of Promigas, and Aquiles Mercado Gonzalez, Vice President, Financial Vice President, Administrative as well. It's also with us all the directors and the executives from the company. As well, I'm going to give the floor to Juan Manuel, who's going to start the presentation. Thank you very much, Juliana. Good morning, everyone. You all, thank you for being with us today here in this result phone call from our third quarterly. And we'd like to start, first of all, with the relevant facts of these relevant facts as well of 2022, as well in particular to the financial level as well, and to highlight the big just had a result that is increasing of this 20% related to the 2021 year, as well to an increasing of 14% related to the accumulated to September in the previous year as well. Related to their individual results, the EBITDA just presented 50% related to the 2021, and the net utility is going to be this related to the same period of the previous year as well. The second term as another relevant one as well, is going to be the operation as well. Our operation in North Peru, and starting to this operation because we're going to start in July in the first quarter. And in this way, the formal operation and there's additional customers. I would like to highlight the qualifications that we have to the credit, the AAA local and the international one as well, both with some steady perspectives from the translating to Promigas as well. As we confirmed that the company has a risk of the business, a low risk related to regulated business and a solid position of the transportation of gas as well as Colombia and Peru as well. In the fourth place, I would like to mention that continually developing our program energy solutions, offering some integral solutions as sustainable to renewables as well. Energy transition as well, we have been accumulator of 47.2 megawatts. We're going to see in detail afterwards this pair in 32 that belong to solar distributed solution and 50.3 with generation as well. Well, related to this, in fifth place, we're going to mention as well that we're going to mention as well the acknowledgement of our project of hydrogen green project as the award of the Latin America with this and this recognition as well on operations and innovation itself. Thinking always in the energy future of our organization. Let's continue. Let's move forward. When we see the results, the operational results of the business per business as well to September 2022, I highlight the increasing of 8% of the transported LNG and services because of the third quarter cubic per day, even if the gasification volumes has diminished related to the period to the same 2021 period. We continue the energy insurance of the country. As you can see, this year we have had 36 days of the regasification, more than 1 month, where our plant is going to be required of this regasification capacity as well. It has been working as the market is expecting. Let's move on. As a matter of the business of distribution, electrical distribution, gas and electric power distribution, and non-banking financing and energy solutions, the accumulator to September of this year, I would highlight as follows. We reached the digit of 6,100,000 users in our business, The distribution of the gas and electrical power distribution. Related to gas distribution, we have 5 million.2 users, where 1,700,000 we already have at Peru, has an increasing of the 23%. On the other hand, that I would like to highlight, because we're gonna reach a near 19,000 networks with a 13 increasing as well, and we have some presence in 67 municipalities in the same municipality as well. And finally, in third place, related to financing as well, non-banking financiation users with the Brillas credit as well accumulated to 772 new users this year. We have achieved with this finance founding tool, reaching more than 4,900,000 people. In this case, we had access during this service because it's available as well. Now we have been increasing 4% related to the placement, reaching 746.777 million in October and September. Let's move forward. Related to the consolidated financial results for the period, three quarter 2022, we highlight an increasing in a comparison with the 2021 of 16% in the incomes reaching 1.1 billion, an increasing as well, an increasing of 22% of the EBITDA, increasing mainly because of better results to the better incomes of the portfolio, and increasing of the net income of 25%, reaching 295 million. Related to the financial results as well, from January from until September, we have been reaching with a really outstanding development and result and outcome as well, with 30% and reaching 4.44 billion pesos, increasing EBITDA, increasing the 20%, and a net income 14% increasing, reaching the 954 million pesos. I would like to highlight once again the great balance as it was distributed the EBITDA with the 25% in the transportation business, which is going to be in the distribution business, and the net income among both groups, the strategical business, reaching the 40% of the business and transportation, and the 56% of the in the distribution negotiation as well. If we see the results, individual one, when we compare the third quarter of 2022 with the third quarter of 2021, we see an increase in this case of 8% related to the incomes as well, one of 10% of the EBITDA and the net income of the quarter, in order to for the 95, the 40, 50% of the budget of this thing as well. So, as well as these financial results of Promigas, and related to the same period, September and 2021, increases and increasing in this case, and 50% of EBITDA as well, and 7% of the net income as well. To the level of the operations as well, we continue ratifying our commitment with the excellence in the delivery of the service as well. So in particular, we would like to mention that in the quarter July, September 2022, in the four sector, thermoelectrical, industrial, and GCV, all of them has been increasing. You see this one with the other ones, what is showing up is this year has been a reactivating year. I would like to highlight increasing in particular that we have industrial volumes as well, near 30 million cubic meter cubics per day in the consumption that we have in the refinery of Barranca Bermeja. We follow as well with some operational developments as well, the optimal ones with some losses of transportation from the established limits because of the regulation, and with a continuity as well of the service as well, then 29%. To the level of investment, accumulated results as well for 117,000 million, and we're according to this capex, corporate capex for the year as well, and we hope to close this year in 85% of execution related to the budget as well. to the safety operation, we are related to this and the race that we have, the LGP and the FR and 186, 180 and 85 and 87 as well. And as operation, as an objective during the year as well, we have been continuing with our strategical partner with strategical solutions from zero accidents operation, strengthening as well related to the corporate culture. And we're going to see the results during these coming quarters because it's going to prioritize this within the corporate group as well, not only Promigas. As a relevant facts as well related to innovation from Promigas and their companies and portfolio, we do consider every single is going to be digital transformation as well as innovation and as the bridge that is connecting our businesses related to energetic and sustainable points, to energetical points with products and services highly relevant as well. In that way, in that quarter between July and September, as well, the Peru, so we're going to have the first patent in this country as well. And the fourth, in the corporate level, as well as we can see the implementing modular system. Also, we highlight that Promigas received the best production of hydrogen in Latin America, as we were mentioned as a relevant fact at the beginning with the green hydrogen. That's where it was delivered by H2O2 Black. And for first year, for the first consecutive year, we participate as a corporation in the innovation ranking of ANDI, and we're included among the group of the 40 most innovative companies in Colombia. We're gonna go to results by strategic results transmission, SUB in this case, 3/4 2020, and it's transported because of the Promigas, Transmetano, Promoriente, Transoccidente, Promisol, Spec LNG, and Promisol Zona A. At this phase, if we see, for example, the right side of the graphic, we highlight the variation in the values related to the coast, Atlantic coast in January and September, as well as the same quarter of 2021. It shows the way you have the reactivation. This volume is fast from 127 per day to 347 million cubic millions, increasing of a 6%. As we said previously, we were dividing in all the fronts as well, thermoelectrical and industrial, thermoelectric sectors, thermoelectric, and vehicular gas as well. In particular, for the third quarter, it has a bigger consumption in Barrancas refinery, generating a peak of consumption as well. July 2022, 168 million cubics per day as well. Let's continue. To the natural gas transmission as well, the subsidiaries as well, the three transporters from January to September, it presented an increase in the transport volumes as well. The case of Promoriente, 29%, Tramitano and Transoccidente, 17% as well, showing as well that reactivation was going to be delivered. Let's go to the next one, please. The regasification plan is talking about more than 5 years of operation, showing as well as effective years about capacity and increase of the reliability, because it has been working as a impact, as a recap, has been completion from July to September of this year. We had achievement, and if we see the accumulative of the year, we have 3 achievements. So LNG from January and September, that belongs on the same number from January to September of the previous year. Such a way we need to take into account the first semester, July and September. The relative generation supported the energy of the country with the 85% in this case, and some critical contributions to the 127 because of this historical part. That's why we presented in this case the days of the regasification and reliability as well, comparison with the same period of the previous year as well. Let's see the results, the distribution SUB. Remember that this group, this kind of things is characterized because of the companies of distribution of gas, Urtigas, GDO, Gases del Caribe, Quavi from Pacific, Cálida, Promigas Peru, and the sector of electrical distribution because of the CEO, as well because of the non-banking finding as well, and because of our shared services and vice versa as well. Enlace adversa. We would like to highlight three things when we get into the results of this strategical group. In this case, the first of all is we see the right side to the graphic. We see how it's going to continue in users connecting. Users are connecting, and the number of the relevant number here is the increasing of the first 9 months of the year on connections and 500,000 new connections, million, half a million of connections as well. We highlight 270,000 connections, additional connections that Cali has in the zone as well, and surroundings as well. 40,000 connections that Quavi has at Peru as well. So Calida in Quavi has been 40,300 connections, new connections in the market. In our partner business, we're in Colombia, we highlight the 5 GBO and Surtigas with these new users with more than 70 and 90%, which is enhancing as well. The second thing that I would like to highlight is with the EBITDA, with that strategical and that's increasing of 291 million at EBITDA in this case. And third place as well with the evaluation and evaluation of demand of electrical energy, where it's going to be this is going to increase the volumes in a 5% as well, and electrical energy 4% in this case. There are very good results by strategical business of business in this year and the year as well. If we see the business of non-banking funding for the third non-banking financing, we're going to have 772 users with brilliant users, 772,000, reaching 4.9900 loans granted since the start of the program. And really important as well to highlight the 40% of those of these beneficiaries are status 1, 36% status 2, and bracket 2, and bracket 3, the 13% of the bracket 3, showing the impact, the social impact that this program has as well. And secondly, with the commercial, we achieved to be able 776 million pesos in this case between January and September with these kinds. And we achieved to increase this EBITDA as well in 30% in the January and September in a comparison with the same period of the previous year as well. So this business has been increasing, and it is very fruitful for these digits as well. I would like to move now for the area in order to do the solutions, energetical solutions as well. And here, as we were mentioning, for example, in this case, at the beginning, we have been working Promigas. We have as the objective to becoming a relevant players in the business and energy solutions as well, to diversify our productions of portfolios and services, and to becoming a strategical partner of our customers in the transition, energy transition, in permitting the decarbonization in this case. This way, to September to 2022, we have been accumulated 47.2 megawatts of solution energy solutions from the 150% is our in operations, the 50% under construction. And then a comparison with 2021, the total capacity has an increase of 87%. From the 7.2 megawatts. We already mentioned almost 32 belonged to generate solar distribution. And in the meantime, 51.3 is a belonging to another kind of operation. In addition, we assist 42 megawatts from third parties as well. We do deliver these kind of things as well. And related to the incomes of every single of these incomes as well, the income to September of these communities 3,000 with millions, in order to solar with the execution of 61% and 962 million for another kind of generation execution and 98% related to the we were expecting. About to sustainable mobility, the demand of GNB in Colombia was 10 million cubics per day, while in Peru, we're talking about this per day as well. And the EBITDA was accumulated 19,776.93% for Colombia's case, for Peru as well. It's really important to highlight we signed some alliances in this kind of thing because of the solar with entities and the year as well. And it's gonna talk about in detail with the investors as well. To the level to corporate matters as well, we would like to mention related to corporate aspects, we have 4 different programs of the foundation who are just benefiting almost 7,000 people in a direct way, and they are distributed in 64 municipalities in the country because 16 of them are PDET because every single peso invested, we have been more or less at 1.16 pesos from third parties. They have been invested, which shows the capacity from Promigas Foundation to leverage third parties for advancing these programs as well. We have been moving forward in these 4 areas, more youth employment, more entrepreneurship, and more productive communities, and more sustainable territories. I would like to highlight the impact of more youth as well when we have 400 direct young people as well. The 84% of these people as well, they ended up the program in order to work with this. The 43%, they have a formal job as well. That's matter to say. We link to the laboral market in a really formal way, and the program is developed in 31 municipalities of the country, where 3 are PDET municipalities. In order to work with this entrepreneurship, want 811 entrepreneurs in the business model to generate and increase their sales as well. In this case, we have been talking about 304,000 beneficiaries as well, and we reach this 27 with APD as well. In communities and more productive communities as well, we have been supporting 382 impacts with 330 direct beneficiaries as well, and present in 40 municipalities in PDT and more sustainable. We have 714 directs in order to reach the 5 municipalities PDET in the country as well. We're going to give the floor to Achilles Mercado in order to have the third quarter. Achilles, thank you very much. Thank you, Juan Manuel. Related to the financial status here, related to this first semester, we see the incomes related to the profit and loss statements increasing at 8% related to the revenues that we just mentioned, reaching to the close of September, 273,461 million pesos. The EBITDA by its part is increasing at 10%, or was increasing at 14%, increasing the budget, reaching the 161 billion pesos, and the net income 150% of the budget as well, with 295,241 pesos. The incomes accumulated and increasing because of a bigger rate of the rate as well, changes of the rate as well into 2022 near 292 because of the invoice results. And the most important part, 4% of the volume is transported because of the consumption of the final users, mainly in the electrical sector as well. The EBITDA, we're going to talk about this number, and increased, and it was the rate to most operational incomes we were mentioning, and overall, we're to the participation because of the investment, and because in Cali, that, because of the volume, because of this commercial activity in this country, contributing with the massification of these kind of things. So because we have better income, because of the incomes received as well from some insurance companies and better transportation incomes as well, overcoming this level of consumption because of the contract with Ecopetrol as well. It's going to be interoperable. And in this case, in order to be part of the regasification of funds and liquid and reported as well because of the income of the, because it's the rate that we have in order to show as well because of the storage and regasification as well. It has a better income as well in order to obtain in 2022, as we were mentioning, despite of the diminution of yearly because of the income as well, because of the financial access in the ANIF regulations as well. That's going to be shown in this kind of concessions as well. We have a better of oil and gas as well to the operations related to the current and inventories as well because of the storage and regasification as well, because in Tramitano as well. And the record, we have better incomes and expenses as well as registration of the indemnization as well. It is going to have a third party, it's going to have an affectation related to this as well. It has an increase in a marginal income as well for this amount as well. So things like this and the net income as well, and it's going to be these amounts as well, 50, 100% related to the financial expenses as well, because of this amount is going to be this bonus in Colombia and Colombian pesos as well as another variable of the results. As we know, the high volatility and the increasing as these rates of having more 400, 300, 400 related to the basic and the analysis digits as well, related to the accumulated to 2021 against 2021 September in this period 3T. In the analysis, the income just increased, the 5% of the budget having an increase of the 20% also with the related year, with the previous year reaching 824,000 million, and the EBITDA was exceeding 16% overcoming the related to what we were expecting related to these digits, and the net income 1 billion 16% related to the budget previous and according to the previous year as well, and 954,789 million. As we mentioned before, these results, these accumulated results to September, they have an impact because the huge TRM for invoicing, the increasing of the transporting, the volumes, as well as the receipt of some increasing for Ecopetrol because the finishing anticipated was renewed bigger terms as well. It has an amortization for 31 million pesos. So the EBITDA in this case generated is what generated because of bigger operational incomes as well, and because operational because the three of the participation that was reflected in the results of the companies that compose compound our portfolio. And the net income is assessments that we were gathered with the increase the EBITDA has been increasing because of the financial results that is not reflected the increasing of the business, the increasing of the very importance of the rates as well. Related to the general balance as well, the current access with the link with the links that was reflected with the payable accounts. We have been paying in the meantime. In the meantime, we agreed the payments as well as the fees, the asset financial related to the concessions with the assets, in this case with the liabilities and equity, and reflects the effects of the obtaining of the variables of communication, Promigas and microeconomical for the calculation of the financial active with the acknowledgement of the potential payable accounts for the Colombian state as a virtue of the purchase options that we have over there. The other assets, for example, in long term, we have been increasing to 10%. In this case, I reflect increasing the net income related to companies as well as the participation as well as the capitalization of our non-goals in Peru and some adjustment is going to be compensated because of the dividends because of this work with this in assemblies of 2022. With the current passives as well, the increase in 114%, it was going to be in March, and you're going to be paid as well in the day because of the translated of the passive of the liabilities as well of credits, and they are at the expiration date in April 2023. The liability is decreased in the 3%, 80% because of the decreases that we were talking about the long-term operations, which is a kind of quarter with increasing the debt in dollars because of the higher bed differentiation for the closing of financial status monthly. So difference is worth it is going to be recovered naturally to an asset because of the investments in the abroad as well because of the change rate as well because we had an impact with this. And finally, we just ended up this and we give the floor to our president, Juan Manuel Rojas as well. Thank you very much, Achilles. So, Juliana, I guess we're going to open the Q&A sessions related to the attendees to this call. Well, the first question is Ricardo Sandoval from Bank Colombia. Can you tell us what about the diminishing of the net winnings incomes to 114 pesos in 3T 2022 versus 131,000 3T 2021, despite to present a better income before taxes? This income can be answered by our CFO. Thank you, Juliana. Is because of these digits here. If you see our net income is increasing in our important thing because of the participation that increasing at 13% on September 2021 and September 2021 related to these amounts as well. And this number is not related to the income tax as well. So it doesn't have an impact. It has been reflected to the incomes as we could think because it's part of the analysis as well. We can remember that Promigas subscribed just in 25 years as well the stability when it's going to be the capex on the investments as well related to fixed products at the 40% of the same is going to be deductible of in taxes as well. The taxes to compare between September 2021 and 2022 increase of 24%. So they have a bigger deduction from the net income because of the virtual stability, and it's gonna be related to 2029. We have a question by Christian Fera, Christian Capital Fera. What is below this change of tariffs as well in Colombia related to gas transportation? They're expecting another else, another. What about the total percentage in the average tariff? Thank you, Juliana. Thank you very much for that questions as well. Well, the first application that of the modification of the tariffs related to transportation shows a level reduction of charges and loads because of numbers of transportation, 3%. That represents the diminution of our incomes in this case because of the effect of the updating of the variable investments and regulation as well, and because of the WAC as well. On the other hand, for 2023, we're expecting an increase in the 1st January because of the PPI, Colombian PPI as well. And on the other hand, we estimate for the second application an increase in the charges that was going to be 15 and 20% related to the incomes as well as a function of the new investments of updating to expenses to EAOM and projections of demand in itself. Thank you, Juan Manuel. The third question is from Christian Ferro from Balance Capital. Apparently, we haven't been discussing related to the rates of gas of distribution gas at Colombia. Do you think the Craig could apply some measures related to what he did related to electricity or gas transportation in these coming months? Well, thank you very much for the question. And well, here we would need to see how the discussion ended up because the Commission and the Ministry and the government are evaluating the Texas. Currently, we have been working with electrical tariffs as well, and, and it's gonna be leading this related to the indexes as well, related to distribution gas and oil. For example, remember anyway that during the latest 15 years, because of the general, the consumer has been benefited because of the application of the indexer by PTI as well, and that is gonna be that it has occur in the final. But if you see the 15 years, the PPI has been more on behalf of the consumers in their rates as well than the index of the prices to the consumer. But that discussion is open currently in the electrical one. We need to wait for a little bit in order to reach the plane of distribution of gas as well. The fourth question is from Christian Ferrer from Balance Capital. It could give us a little bit of the idea how much capex are you waiting, are you expecting at Peru in 2023 and 2024? What about the EBITDA? What we're going to aspire to get? Do you have any finally regulatory legal matters at Peru? Well, basically for 2023, we have a capex projected at Peru and executed as well near $43 million for 2023. And for 2024, we hope to have a near capex to 50 or $55 million as well. The three companies that we have in Peru, this is going to have an increase in EBITDA near to 20% in this case. Now, related to tariffs as well, basically this year, we need to say it again, we have the reduction of the rates of our company Calida, and those go for 5 years time. Gas Nord as well is just a concession that, as our president Juan Manuel said, they came into commercial operation this year, and that's why their tariffs are updated in 5 years time, and the rates, and it's gonna be with the Pacific gases as well because they have a time of expiration time as well. We're gonna be with this process and these tariffs as well. So over there, we're gonna have too many options because currently we're just waiting a little bit because of this because of the operator and regulator as well. Will there additional questions? The fourth question is from Carlos Garas, as well as Promigas was the saving of the operations abroad. In the case of downgrade, for example, of Peruvian Soberano related to what we have been talking with the qualifiers rates, they can lose the investment operation. In the case as Colombia's Peru, they lose the investment rate. Aquiles, please. Thank you. Well, when we read the reports on qualification action of Fitch and Moody's, which are the ones who qualified us, there is not an express reference in order to invest the operation abroad. We can't deny that the diversification in Colombia is helping us to keep these qualifications as well. We get the investment rate, and in 2010, when Colombia didn't have a grade of investment as well, so we have it. So Peru, because of the levels of investment, the speculative as well, I'm sorry, because we are just so far for the opportunity that we can get a lost or something, but it's not necessary, it says The hypothetical case that we're gonna miss it at Colombia and Peru, no doubt, will be a really good important for the investments as well, related to because we have more than 30 years having 11 per Fitch as well as 3 or 4 per Moody's as well. We have a huge resiliency of these kind of events as well. Peru, no doubt, is gonna be a really huge effort and relevant to keep these kind of investments. So we know the sovereigns as well, they lose the investment rate as well. Thank you very much, Achilles. We have a tax from Rodrigo Sanchez from the Vivienda Corredores. Taking into consideration the gas the pipeline that Caracol already gave to Sarkais and Engineering Corp. Set going this for the connection our Hogan Medellin overcomes the total capacity of this gas pipeline of connection. What is gonna be the Promigas position? Is gonna be moving forward ahead. Thank you very much for the question. And Canacol has been announced that the connection for connecting the hub cases in Cordoba to the demand in Medellin is during the operational constructing and maintenance of the gas pipelines 859 with a diameter of 22 inches. It was adjudicated to the foreign consortium in its question as well. We don't have a bigger information because of the technical and of the project, and we're gonna be really attentive that to the developed within the updated framework. Let's move on with the questions, Juliana. We have another question from Rodrigo Sanchez. The previous quarter, we were mentioning about as a product of the changes of the tributary reform, do you have a prevention related to the relevant impacts? Can you tell us an update related to the estimated digits and the channels as well? Achilles, okay, thank you, Juan Manuel. When in fact, there is just one digit from the tributary reform that we're just waiting to having the results and the impacts, but not in the cash flow, as well as the impact of this accumulation are gaining of the 12 50%, because remember, we have an asset here in order to work on this with this kind of a cash and things was gonna through this operational to before the closing of this year. This is gonna have a reduction of 100,000, 11,000 million pesos. But remember that when the summary, the tributary report, the Ministry of Industry and Commerce, we were working with this, and we're gonna work related to this. And it is a PNG, for example. We're waiting for this year with the national accounting or central accounting register to the ministry as well. We're going to be able to do this updating against the heritage, and not because of the final results, because otherwise the impact that we're going to be here in order to some relevant way of we insist that only it's as a conversation as well, not only for the gas effects as well. And thank you, Achilles. We have related to corridors. We're going to talk about these bonuses and these emissions. Is going to be in dollars or is going to be in pesos? Achilles. Juan Manuel, at this moment, we haven't taken into account the bonus estimation because of an approval state until 1 billion pesos. So we have a very good evaluation by the international markets as well. But the current conditions and rates in some really relevant peaks during the latest years, we have been accomplishing in this case related to what 2022 years. In 2023, we're going to wait for the behavior in the markets and financing from the investments, and Colombia and Peru is going to be a doable alternative. That's why we're not waiting for the bonuses in one, neither both markets. We have a question from Juan Manuel Gonzalez, an independent investor. Their financial reports are very positive as well, and unfortunately, this doesn't reflect in the price of the stock. Why don't you rebuy stocks that are very profitable from Promigas and its investors? Thank you very much, Juan Manuel, for the question. And well, the administration takes into consideration the price of the stock is very low, and the board of directors, as you said, are relevant director to administrators to buy some stocks in September. So, well, see, we have the same vision like you have, but the decision of to rebuy those decisions, it must have a decision of the stock stock players, for example, stockholders. So in this case, it's something that against the Colombian as well, and we have been seeing in the stocks market in Colombia. But the decision to rebuy in some stocks is more just from the investors more than the administrator. We have another question from Ezequiel Fernandez from Balance. Could you tell us what about the amortizations of the debt that we're facing in 2023 and 2024? Thank you, Juan Manuel. So in this case, we're just waiting for this amortization. So depreciation in 2023 and 2024, 940 million pesos in 2024, no, 985,000. So it's really important to report to tell you that within the actions that we're taking to prevent, they're going to be able to have any kinds of deficiency related to obtain the resources. The board of directors that we were mentioning the previous year was authorizing the in order to work with these obligations because of the capex as well, because of Peru and Colombia, because we have tried to minimize these kind of things as well of these kind of things as well in order to take advantage of the high rates as well as the surpluses as well related to these qualifiers as well, which is valid with the markets as well. They're gonna say the liquidity and high taxes as well. Thank you, Achilles. The last question is from Carlos Canessas from Seminary. Thank you very much and congratulations for the presentation and for the results. Could you give us an update of the rates in Colombia? How could affect their incomes as well? On the other sides as well, the operations of gas. What about the incomes and the EBITDA has increasing to the company? Thank you very much for the question related to the first part of the questions that we were mentioning, we were saying previously, as well in general terms as well, because of the transportation ways as well. We have been working in so many different moments as well. In September 2022, we're updating the rates because of the first operation and the rate in capital at that moment. We were applying 10.50%, and the current is going to be from dollars to pesos as well, using a TRM as well of 2021. These charges as well, they were working because of the values of the user life useful cases, in this case of 2020. Well, I was expecting 2023, the CREC publishes the resolutions with the recalculation, this recalculation of charges, updating the variables and investments, OBM and demand, that's what we call the second demand of applications, updating to the updated because of the commission to this is going to move the important advances in the revision and the tariffs as well. It's going to be sort because of these kind of things. It's going to be initial to these administrative things because in terms of the files and tariffs really against the click as well auditory from audits and the answers of the market of the transporters over the projected demanding about some other ones. So we're going to have the cycle that we're expecting in these processes as well. So let's say that is just related to the information that you requested and the new transportation charges as well related to the gas north as well. I translate the question to Wilson Chinchilla, our Vice President of Distribution for he gives the answer. Thank you, Juan Manuel. In fact, we have been coming in an investment procedure and a really strong one, a connection of users industrial ones as well, very strong ones. So we need to permit the data previous year near 1.20 billion dollars, so near this kind of thing, so almost $60 million And currently, which is being presented an increase in of 400% for the next year, we hope to have a near to 18 and millions of dollars as well, an increase of 21% and significant as well. So to the posterior years, of course, and to the projection of the customers, and we have been reaching EBITDA near to 8 or 10%. Thank you, Wilson. We have no more questions, live questions. So we remember you. If you have any kind of question, additional question, you can write to us to inversionistas@promigas.com. I'm going to give the floor to Juan Manuel to close this session. Thank you very much, Juliana. Once again, thank you very much for all the attendees and to this call. And once again, with the results of the third party this quarter as well, we ratify as well the commitments as well from Promigas with the obtention of excellent results, financial results, operationals in the environments of entrepreneurship as well to a social level and innovation as well. The financial results, they speak by themselves, and we had, of course, an increasing, once again, a really important one related to the previous year and the same period the previous year as well, and our incomes and our net incomes as well. We have been working in a solid company and profitable as well, and thus we feel really proud as well. So once again, thank you very much for being with us. We hope to be able to see each other together as well as with the goals of closing at the end of the year. Thank you very much.